The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Issues of the day under T-Radar.
Issues of the day from a T-Radar perspective, from a Wellington perspective today. G'day there, Tim.
From a car in Wellington.
To be very specific. Yeah. You pulled over? You found a park?
I did. I pulled over to park. I have a breakfast meeting soon, and I thought I would career down from where I was staying in a cheap hotel up on Botanical Gardens into central Wellington, thinking, that might take me half an hour or so. 10 minutes there.
Oh, smooth.
Smooth. I don't know whether it's an anomaly or whether people in Wellington, it's always like this. Don't know.
It sounds like the people of Wellington have been eating their bran this morning.
Yes. Flowing smoothly.
For a strange metaphor.
Yes, strange and well, time of the day specific. Very good. Nice work, breakfast metaphor.
So commuting is quite easy.
Well, it is if you're not on the train. Apparently the trains, it's all hell's broken loose. They're doing upgrades and all of that, so the trains have stopped going, and all those sort of tens of thousands of people who thoughtfully commute in Wellington. It very much is that sort of that sort of government. You sense that there's this government hub of people on trains in their suits with their briefcases, all coming in on the 905 and all going back on the 516 to Porirua and Paikokariki and all of those places. So oddly, quaintly English in a way.
Isn't it? But that pain of the upgrade, I mean, it's short term, and obviously there's going to be a wonderful transport system in Wellington for generations.
The best that money can buy.
Yeah.
One of their new trains arrived the other day, I think, or was that Auckland? Somewhere they had a train arrived, and it was lowered off the ship onto the railway line. It was going to be taken off, and it was all wrapped in plastic. Imagine getting that. Christmas is good at the best of times, but imagine unwrapping an enormous train carriage.
They need to have a competition where all the train geeks could enter in to be the person to cut the plastic.
Yeah, that would be marvellous.
That'd be a dream.
Yes, well, I see, because it's never easy in Wellington with public transport. They're ripping up the Manners Mall to put a bus lane through, and that's provoked into a lot of controversy. It was a lovely sort of bit of a walk through mall, and they said, well, it's going to cut sort of 5 minutes off the bus journey and make that all quicker and smarter. And now I saw in the paper yesterday, I was reading it on the ferry on the way over. No, not many people on that, let me assure you. And they said, look, they're digging holes and filling them up with gravel and covering them over and coming back and digging them up again. People sleeping. Shopkeepers, we saw people sleeping on the job.
And of course, these will be local body issues. Is there any evidence of campaigning out on the streets?
Oh, look, to be honest, I haven't actually seen any in Wellington, but then I did get in sort of quite late last night on the ferry and just went straight to my little bed sit. And, I've just done about 4,000 Ks in the last couple of weeks. Well, let me assure you that there are some very, very cheap hotels out there at the moment.
Are there?
In the sort of $60, $65 ranges, and lots of sort of signs up everywhere. I know it's sort of the off-season, but, geez, they must be struggling. There's not a lot of people out there travelling by the look of it.
No. Well, as you say, it is off-season, but that's cheap. I think this is a good time of the year to go and see your own country.
Look, it absolutely is. There's bugger all people around. I drove up from Christchurch to Picton yesterday. The roads were virtually empty, and there they were. There was a bit of cloud, but you're on this road, the sea on one side and the snow-capped mountains. And look, if I can give anyone a piece of advice, if you are within remote driving distance, I think it's the Ohau Stream up north of Kaikoura, where those baby seals are swimming, pack a car full of folks, go and watch the seals, and just wallow in the sheer zest for life that they have for living.
Wow, you went and saw them? I
did, and I was a bit sceptical. There was a bit of a stroll, and I went, oh, God, here we go, 5-minute stroll into the bush. Absolutely worth it.
And so
it's one of the most fantastic things you'll ever see.
Golly, so these baby seals are frolicking, they're going down little waterfalls, they're playing,
they're scuffling, all of the things that seals do, and they sort of sit there and they get out and they give themselves a good old scratch, and then it's back into the water again, and it's frolic central. I've not seen animals of the baby kind frolicking like that for some time, and their eyes, Wammo. If you think that the pool at the bottom of the waterfall is beautiful, the pools of the eyes of the seals, those dark brown orbs into which you think that you could just dive into and swim around in their eye cavity.
Oh, you melted into it.
Marvellous. Look, it's absolutely worth it. If you're within a couple of hours' drive, take the kids.
Because it was a closely guarded secret for a long time.
Well, not anymore.
No.
Particularly, it seems, not amongst the seal community. They've inundated it. I reckon within a short period of time there won't be a lot of frolicking left there because the place it'll be just a pile of seals.
Either that,
lying in a waterhole.
Either that, or the climate will just do away with it.
Look, I know, a flood could wash down. You know the thing I haven't seen that I'm really waiting to see, try to put a bit of perspective on flooding at the moment. I know they've had bad ones in Whakatane, but Pakistan.
Yeah.
20 million people affected, and you think 20 million, well, I suppose that's quite a lot. Impossible to sort of put a finger on it. You know, what I want to see is big aerial shots of the place. And even then you go, oh, well, it's hard to know how much of that was already underwater anyway.
I want a shot from space to really get the perspective.
Why can't we have a shot from space? Surely, there must, come on, there's got to be enough US spy satellites over Pakistan to be able to provide a wonderful coverage of the place.
But you know why? Because we don't care enough.
I think it's true. They're sort of, you know, they look a bit poor, they look a bit brown, they look a bit Muslim. So, you know, now when we see them, you know, here they are with all of their possessions in a piece of cloth on their head, you think, well, they didn't own much anyway, so it's pretty easy to leave. No, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I know Oxfam, I think, and a couple of others were sort of intimating yesterday that perhaps, you know, donations from places like the UK could have been better, but it's one of those places, isn't it? We just think of it as the others, the other people.
And I think the problem is there aren't words to describe such mass destruction and disasters. No. We've run out of, because every single word's lost its impact and meaning.
That's right, you know, and with words to come in, it's apparently all to do with the jet stream. The jet stream's taken a bit of a kink, and it's bringing all this cold air down. So Russia's burning on one side of it, and below it, you know, China, up sort of northern China and Pakistan are being inundated. It's incomprehensible. How does the society? You know, I was going to say how do societies come back from that, but of course they do. But it's going to take a bit of a while, and you know, last thing we want is a bit more instability in Pakistan.
So yeah, well, that's right. And so, how does this fit into the Muppets from the Climate Science Coalition's reasoning to take NIWA to court over their climate data figures?
Well, don't know, but it's going to be an interesting court case. I see they've set up a trust, it's got a sort of a charitable trust. These folk who are climate change skeptics, and they're taking NIWA to court to say, look, your science is bad. So, you know, as much as whichever side of the coin you're on, I think it's going to be an absolutely fascinating debate and a fascinating legal case, so long as they argue the legalities of it, not the legalities, you know, the science. We can have a jolly good discussion about science. It may actually do everyone the world of good.
But the smart commentators on this are saying that look, the Climate Science Coalition not interested in talking science; they're just interested in talking the politics. Because if you talk about the science, and they will be, you know, they're proven wrong years ago anyway, regardless. But it's just a political manoeuvre to create doubt in the public's mind.
Exactly, which is what they want, a bit of doubt, and then we won't have to sort of make these changes that we have to make. And nonetheless, there's no end of political manoeuvrings. The best one of the day, we'll watch how this unfolds. Heather Roy apparently undermining Rodney Hyde.
Oh.
So she's being dragged in, and it looks like she'll be stripped of her ministerial portfolios and relegated quite the way down. Could be the end of her and Roger Douglas, they say. So a day is a short time in politics.
What's the ruction? What's happened?
She's been undermining Rodney Hyde, you see.
What?
And of course, all of the ACT MPs only really in Parliament because Rodney Hyde continues to win Epsom, because National continues to refuse to stand a candidate there to have a coalition partner.
Huh.
So, you know, undermining Rodney, and admittedly he's had a few faux pas in the last 12 months or so. So
yeah,
there's always something going on, isn't there? It's like the court, you know, anywhere where there's all of those sort of highfalutin things, like any workplace, anyone's trying to undermine someone, and Heather Roy's been caught out. So what will she do? Will she fall on her sword? She should be quite good at that. Former territorial, maybe even currently territorial. She should be very well adept at falling upon the bayonet of politics.
On that note, T. Radar, have a great time in Wellington.
I will, and I shall drive back to Auckland today, continuing to keep my eye out for hotel bargains, and in the meantime, go and check out those seals. They're worth it.
Good-o. Thanks, T. Radar.
We'll speak